UFC Fight Night, Imavov versus Borralho, 5-leg parlay on AJ Let's Talk Sports. Check me out, podcast, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. And also, it is going to be live in Paris, France. And make sure you subscribe for all my latest content. So instead of going all crazy, we're just going to go right on into the 5-legger here. I know there's a 6-fight main card. It starts at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, by the way, in Paris. I think it's about 5 or 6 hours or so difference. But let's check it out, all right? Sola versus McKee. Now, this matchup is a highly anticipated welterweight bout. Alex Sola, an undefeated 27-year-old French prospect. He is 10-0. Makes his UFC debut home soil at the Accor Arena in Paris, France on September 6th as part of a UFC Fight Night. Imavov versus Borralho. Facing him is Skeletor McKee, a 29-year-old Irish striker with modest UFC experience, 1-4 record in 5 fights, and a reputation for knockout power, boasting 11 knockouts. Wins across his career, a clash of momentum versus experience. Sola enters by an unblemished record, undefeated, with a home crowd energy, while McKee brings veteran savviness and finishing explosiveness as well. Now, Sola is favored across the board with odds in the minus 140 to 150 range, while McKee trails as an underdog at a plus 115 to plus 120, almost close to a pick'ems fight. Now, statistically driven models underscore Sola's edge. He scores significantly higher in technical, cardio, striking, and grappling composites, with MMA model predictions giving him around a 63% chance to win, particularly by decision or late stoppage. Still, the early rounds lean toward McKee, whose power and aggressive range striking present a non-inconsiderable upset threat should he land early. So, who you got? I got Sola in this one and might go to decision. All right, Oki versus Jones, which is scheduled Saturday, September 6th, again in Paris, France. The Zulu Warrior enters the octagon as the underdog at a plus 150 to a plus 165 in some betting markets, but brings a reputation for explosive striking and high-volume aggression. Plus, he has an impressive takedown accuracy, estimated around 75%. He earned his UFC contract via first-round knockout on the Contender Series and has since shown flashes of devastating power and fluid footwork under pressure. Now, however, concerns linger about his cardio, going the distance, and occasionally leaky defense habits late in fights. Now, Mason the Dragon Jones, 16-2, comes in favored, minus 185 to minus 215, according to what bet sites you're on, riding a triumphant return to the UFC that included a unanimous decision against Jeremy Stephens. Now, he's a well-rounded athlete with solid striking, 42% to be exact, slick defense wrestling, 80%, takedown defense, and a solid offensive takedown abilities, 53%. He's considerably durable, having never been finished in nearly 20 professional fights. Never been finished. Analysts predict Jones will likely control the pace, but they warn he must avoid getting cracked early, with Oki's speed and power could change the fight abruptly. So, if you're going to look at Oki, if you want him, take him. But I'm not. I'm going with Mason the Dragon Jones from Wales. All right, next. Bukauskas versus Craig. Now, this one's a hard one to pick. This could be fight of the night, depending on how Craig fights. The Baltic Gladiator. We have really awesome nicknames on this fight Saturday afternoon. Bukauskas enters this fight light heavyweight showdown as a strong favorite. He's a minus 300 to a minus 355. Slided to a roughly 75% implied win probability. 75% he should win. He's riding momentum, having a 5 of 6 fights since his UFC return, powered largely by his refined kickboxing and improved ground game. He also posts solid takedown accuracy as well at 67%. Now, Bukauskas is aiming to break into the top 15 of the division with a convincing performance. Now, taking a look at Bear Jew, don't know where that came from, but Paul Bear Jew Craig, he's at a plus 240 to a plus 280, and playing a comeback win would be a substantial upset. Now, Craig is known for an impressive 77% finishing rate thanks to his submission arsenal. He's struggling to regain form amid a multi-fight slump. The key matchup here is Bukauskas' striking and takedown offense versus Craig's opportunistic grappling. If Bukauskas can keep it standing, he likely dominates. Now, however, if Craig finds a way to take the fight to the mat, his submission skills could still snatch a dramatic victory. So it's your classic striker versus grappler matchup. Now, Paul Craig, he just needs to get better and stand up, I think. But the 77% finishing rate really does stand out to me if it goes to the ground, especially if Craig is on top. I think he will find a way to submit him. But we're going with a 75%. The Baltic Gladiator Bukauskas gets the win. All right, now so we have Benoit Saint-Denis versus Mauricio Ruffy, the co-main event in UFC Paris. The French hometown hero, Benoit, God of War, Saint-Denis, 14-3 is his record. Enters as the underdog, though, at a plus 170 to a plus 180. While Brazil's rising knockout specialist, Mauricio Ruffy, he's part of that nerds there, the fighting nerds. He only has one loss, is a clear favorite at a minus 205 to a minus 225, according to the UFC Bet Companion, OddsShark, and RotoWire. Depends on where you're looking. Saint-Denis brings a grappling-heavy resume, boasting 10 submission wins and an average fight duration of just over 7 minutes. But his striking defense has exposed him recently, have suffered consecutive stoppages to his losses to Dustin the Diamond Poirier and Renato Moicano. So in contrast, though, Ruffy packs explosive striking power with 11 knockouts, 8 first-round finishes, and a 100% takedown defense in the UFC, which is making him one of the division's most dangerous finishers in the division and in the UFC, period. This fight presents a classic striker versus grappler matchup. Ruffy aims to keep the bout standing and land his powerful combinations, possibly via knockout, while Saint-Denis will look to close the distance, initiate wrestling exchanges, and work towards submission inside the clinch. Now, analysts lean to Ruffy, predicting a likely stoppage win, given his precision, power, and Saint-Denis' vulnerabilities on the feet. But still, fighting on home soil offers Saint-Denis a chance to rally the crowd behind him and leverage his grappling strengths. Ultimately, this co-main event embodies high stakes on a high-profile card, standing to boost the winner's lightweight rank and momentum significantly. I think whoever wins this could possibly get a title shot, and I got Ruffy in this one. Make that 12 knockouts. Next, here we go. Hey, what are you doing? Go to the description, check out my Linktree. HelloFresh, claim 10 free meals on HelloFresh. Go enjoy 30 days of Hulu on me and win a $4,000 Visa gift card according to Skim. Check it out. Click on it. You've scored 20% off on toilet paper. Who gives a crap? Click on the description. Click on Linktree. Get my deals right now. Do it. We are finally at the main event of the evening. UFC Fight Night, Imavov versus Borralho, UFC Paris on September 6, 2025 at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time at Accor Arena. The main event features a high-stakes showdown between France's own Imavov, I can't pronounce his first name, Nassourdine Imavov, and Brazil's surging contender Caio Borralho. Imavov enters riding a 4-fight win streak, most notably a knockout victory over former champion Israel Adesanya early this year, and holds the number 2 ranking in the middleweight division. So meanwhile, Borralho boasts an unblemished UFC record, fighting out of the fighting nerds, 7-0 undefeated across his last 17 pro bouts. Now the betting lines reflect how evenly matched they are. Some sources list Imavov as a slight favorite at a minus 110 to minus 120, while others have Borralho at a minus 130. So it's going back and forth, and this is basically a pick'ems fight, according to the UFC Bet Companion and BetMGM, Wager Talk, Forbes, and OddsShark, and also SureDog. Now this matchup doubles as a genuine title eliminator, with the victor likely earning a shot at current champion Khamzat Chimaev. Analysts highlight the stylistic contrast. Imavov brings elite-level striking, velocity, and takedown defense, while Borralho counters with wrestling grit, pressure, and durability. So adding layers to the drama, Imavov attempted to leverage a psychological edge by pressuring Borralho with multiple weight cuts, revealing a calculated mind game in the lead-up to fight week, with championship implications and two rising stars clashing in a tense, potentially grueling battle. Fight night in Paris promises to be a pivotal moment in the middleweight division. And who do I got? I'm glad you asked. I got Borralho via knockout in the second. I know it's going to be a 5-round fight, but it's going to be a good one, an all-out bloodbath in the last fight, the last two fights. Who's going to fight Khamzat Chimaev? Who knows? But it could be Borralho. AJ, let's talk sports. Love you guys. God bless. Tip the wagers.